Healthcare workers. What small IT glitch caused the biggest real-world crisis? Richard Williams had been standing against OR door 3 for 20 minutes when I realized our notification system had been down since 4 a.m. His work boot was wedged under the door. His ex-wife Diane's phone battery was at 31%. 5:47 a.m. Regional Medical Center. I'm Dr. Sarah Smith, transplant coordinator. My bladder was screaming. Haven't eaten since yesterday's lunch. Half a granola bar in the break room between crisis calls. Richard shoved a crumpled printout at me. From his pocket, still warm. Position 2. Amy Williams. Position 2. See? His voice cracked on his daughter's name. The heart container weighed 37 pounds. Tommy, the security guard's arms were shaking from holding it. Ice water dripped on his shoe. Temperature gauge reading 4.2 degrees Celsius and climbing. We had maybe 5 hours. Diane held her phone up. TikTok livestream buffering. Day 426. No, 427 waiting for... Connection lost. 89 viewers. She cursed. Fumbled for a charger. Tommy shifted the container to his left arm. Whispered, my sister. She was here. You remember. His badge said, started October 1st, 9 days ago. Behind OR door 3, Kevin Park, 17, chest already open. Dr. Patel's text lit up my phone. Where is it? That's Amy's heart. She was position 2. You changed it. Richard's hands shook. Papers fell. I helped pick them up, saw my tablet screen. Last sync, 4:17 a.m., maintenance mode active. What the fuck is maintenance mode? 2 families emerged from the waiting room. Robert still wore yesterday's clothes, coffee stain on his collar. My son was position 3. Mrs. Pam shuffled forward in hospital slippers. Nobody told us anything. A stranger handed Diane a charger. The live stream reconnected. Comments flooded in. They're hiding something. From at Kidney Warrior 2019. View count, 127. 244. Stopped counting at 500 plus. My hands shook. Face ID failed 3 times. I typed the passcode. 0-4-1-1. Amy's birthday. I'd processed it yesterday. Richard saw me type it. That's her birthday. You know her birthday. The system showed error, error, error. Queued notifications. 47 unsent, including Williams A. Status change 4:03 a.m. Couldn't open it without supervisor override. Dr. Harrison was in OR 5, aortic dissection, 3 hours minimum. Janet appeared, night shift, hour 19. Her eyes were red. Smith, we have 5 hours 12 minutes. Finally got into the queued message. Amy Williams, panel reactive antibody 94%, automatic disqualification. Her immune system went haywire overnight. She can't. Mr. Williams, she developed antibodies. English, speak fucking English. Her body would attack the heart. She'd die on the table. His face went blank. Then everything hit at once. Since when? 4:03 this morning. And you're telling me now? The Tuesday maintenance window, 4 a.m. to 5:30 a.m., every week for 3 years. Never mattered before. Kevin matched at 4:19 during the blackout. Clean match, perfect compatibility. Amy's notification stuck in digital limbo. Someone called Channel 7. There's a situation at Regional. I heard sirens. No, just the highway. Everything sounded like sirens. Tommy's left arm cramped. Ice water pooled at his feet. Dr. Smith, what do we do? Richard's phone buzzed. Text from Amy in ICU. Dad, where are you? He typed. Deleted. Typed again. Couldn't finish. I tried explaining. Stumbled. The allocation algorithm. Compatibility markers. Roberts cut me off. Just tell us who gets the heart. Kevin Park. He's in there now. Mrs. Park emerged from the bathroom, still drying her hands. Saw the crowd. Froze. That's my son's heart. He's dying in there. Richard and Mrs. Park stood 10 feet apart. Your son jumped the line. My son matched fair. Amy's been waiting 427 days. Kevin's been waiting 389. Trading numbers like ammunition. Diane's camera caught everything. Battery at 18%. Comments exploded. Corrupt system. Let them both die. This is America. 650 viewers. Someone recognized me. She was on the news last year. That kid who died waiting. Different child, different failure, same system. The hospital main line rang and rang. Reception closed. No one answering. The paper proof sat in the coordinator's office. Through the crowd, past Richard. I need those files. The real proof is there. I had paper proof that would destroy this family. Amy couldn't use this heart anyway. But Richard wouldn't move, and behind him, Kevin Park had 5 hours left. The paper proof was 20 feet away, through a crowd that kept growing. I called Earl, the maintenance supervisor. Phone rang 4 times. I'm stuck on I-95. Accident. Earl, I need in the coordinator office now. Walk me through the override, panel behind the fake plant, code 7723 number sign. The crowd followed me down the hallway, their phones out, recording everything. Richard stayed at the door, but others came. Mrs. Roberts had her own stream going now. Watch this cover up live. 44 viewers. Climbing. The fake plant was covered in actual dust. Someone sneezed. Gray dust cloud everywhere. I found the panel. Typed 7723 hash. Nothing. Try 7732 number sign, Earl said. Nothing. Shit, might be 2773 number sign. My fingers were slippery with sweat. Kept missing numbers. The crowd pressed closer. Someone's breath hot on my neck. 15 minutes of wrong codes. Each beep, another failure. Wait, which building you in? Building A. That's Building B's panel. You need C. I ran. Actually ran. The crowd followed, some jogging, some walking fast. Mrs. Roberts' camera bouncing. She's running now. Running from the truth. Building C was across the sky bridge. My bladder screamed with each step. Finally found the right panel. Behind a different fake plant. This one had real water stains. 2773 hash click. The door opened. Coordinator office hit me with that overwhelming paper smell. Old files, new files, death certificates waiting to be processed. Amy Williams' file sat on my desk. right where I left it at 3:47 a.m. after the antibody alert came through. The report was clear medical data, numbers that meant her body had turned against itself. 94% panel reactive antibody. Her immune system would attack any heart like it was poison. But how do you tell a father his daughter's body is rejecting life itself? I grabbed her file. Kevin's too. 11 months of Richard's hope in these papers. Perfect compatibility for 11 months. Then this morning at 4:03, her immunity went rogue. No warning, no reason, no one's fault. That's the worst part. No one to blame. Back to the staging area. The crowd had doubled. Maybe 20 families now. Day shift arriving, seeing the chaos. Melissa from cardiac ward. What the hell, Smith? I showed Richard the antibody report, held it up like evidence. See this number? 94%? That means, I don't care what it means. Mr. Williams, she would die. The heart would kill her. His face changed. Understanding crept in like ice water. So she can't get any heart? The cruelest truth. Not today's heart. Probably not tomorrow's. Maybe never. Her body would reject almost anything now. Needed a perfect match from someone with rare markers. 1 in 10,000 chance. Diane's camera caught my nod. The livestream comments exploded. You knew at 4 a.m. You knew and didn't tell us. I opened my mouth to explain about maintenance windows. Stopped. It would sound like excuses. It was excuses. The system failed. I failed. Someone shoved me. Hard. Papers scattered across the floor. I scrambled on my hands and knees. The smell of floor cleaner mixed with my own panic sweat. Mrs. Park helped me up. Her hands gentle but her eyes hard. Is my son disqualified too? I couldn't answer. Didn't know. System still down. 47 notifications sitting in queue. Any of them could be her son's death sentence. Richard still blocked the door but his stance wavered. His phone lit up. Another text from Amy. Dad, please come back. He stared at it. Typed. Deleted. His mouth moved. If she can't have it. If she can't. Didn't finish the sentence. Couldn't. Tommy's arms were cramping. He switched the container again. Left to right to left. Ice water pooled on the linoleum. Someone would slip soon. The heart inside. Still perfect. Still waiting. Still viable. For now. Timer on my phone. 4 hours, 31 minutes. The crowd kept growing. Someone had called their cousin. Their cousin called someone else. The phone tree of medical grief spreading through the hospital. Each family with their own weight, their own story, their own rage at the system that kept failing them. Richard looked at the papers in my hands. The proof that his daughter was dying from the inside out. The proof that this heart would kill her. The proof that changed nothing. She's been waiting 427 days. I know. You know her birthday. I know. You know everything except how to save her. I had nothing for that. Behind him, machines kept Kevin Park alive. Waiting. In front of him, 20 families wanting answers I couldn't give. The guards stood there doing nothing while Kevin Park's life ticked away. Janet called code gray overhead. Security arrived in 90 seconds. 5 guards, not 10 like protocol demanded. Budget cuts. 2 had called in sick. Lead guard Rodriguez faced Richard. Sir, step away from the door. No. Simple, final. Rodriguez's phone rang. Hospital lawyer, working from home. I could hear her through the speaker. Do not touch him. Liability nightmare. Everyone knew about Phoenix. 3 years ago. Security tackled a father blocking surgery. Family sued. Won $2 million. The number haunted every hospital administrator in America. The guards stood there. Useless. More families kept arriving from ICU. Someone's grandma rolled up in a wheelchair, hospital blanket over her legs. My grandbaby been waiting too. Day shift nurse Melissa looked at me. Smith, what did you do? I didn't. The system. She walked away disgusted. The union rep appeared. Jorge from transport. My team won't cross this line. The container couldn't move without transport. Catch 22 inside, catch 22. Richard's legs shook. He'd been standing 45 minutes. The crowd literally held him up, hands on his back, his shoulders, propping him against the door. He wouldn't leave. Mrs. Park was crying now. Real tears, not pretty ones. Please, my son, please. My phone buzzed. Patel's text. BP dropping. 70-40. Need heart now. I made a desperate decision. Stepped toward Richard. What if you could watch? What? Watch the surgery. See Kevin get the heart. Full transparency. First time anyone had offered this. First time anyone thought to offer. Behind that door, Kevin Park's blood pressure was crashing. In the ICU, Amy Williams's heart was failing, and Richard had to choose which child might die. 7:15 a.m., 2 hours since this started. Channel 7's van blocked the patient loading zone. The reporter, same one from last year's scandal, recognized me immediately. Dr. Smith, any comment? I turned away. No comment could fix this. Diane's live stream had blown up, 2,847 viewers, her phone at 6% dying fast. Anyone charger? 3 people offered chargers simultaneously, actually fought over who got to help, the drama feeding itself. Hospital PR director Melissa Smith arrived, no relation to me, despite the name. Workout clothes, sports bra visible under mesh top, clearly dragged from her 6 a.m. spin class. She tried to give a statement. The crowd erupted. Where were you at 4 a.m.? Why does the system go down? Every fucking Tuesday? Someone threw coffee, missed Melissa, hit the wall. Brown stain dripped down white paint. She retreated inside. CEO Dr. Morrison arrived at 7:22, suit immaculate, face panicked, pulled me aside, fingers digging into my arm. Fix this, now. How? I don't care how. But he wouldn't authorize forcing Richard. The Phoenix lawsuit sat between us like a ghost. $2 million. No one would risk it. More families kept coming. ICU families, cardiac ward families, even pediatric families with tiny patients upstairs. All with stories. Mrs. Rodriguez rolled up. My son died waiting last year. 382 days. Mr. Kim, quiet. My daughter got her heart after 500 days, still rejected it. Another Williams family, no relation to Richard, pushed forward. We stand together. Someone started Facebook Live, another on Instagram. The hashtag appeared, Heartgate. Not trending yet, but building. You could feel it building. Morrison's phone rang, mayor's aide. I could hear snippets. Election in 3 months, bad optics, need this resolved. State medical board investigator texted Morrison. He showed me. En route. 45 minutes. The container's temperature gauge, 5.1 degrees Celsius. Tommy's back went into full spasm. I watched him seize up, grabbed the container from him. 37 pounds of ice, metal, and someone's heart. My arms immediately shook. How had he held this for an hour? I got it. I lied. The ice had melted more. Sloshing sound inside. Like a cooler at a barbecue, except this cooler held life itself. Morrison grabbed my shoulder. What's our move? Our move? There was no our. Just me, Richard, 2 dying teenagers, and a system that crashed every Tuesday at 4 a.m. because someone 3 years ago decided maintenance windows should happen during low traffic periods. Diane found another charger. Phone at 4% but climbing. The live stream title updated, Hospital Hiding Truth, My Daughter Dying. Comments flooded past too fast to read, mostly caps lock, mostly rage. The crowd had swelled to maybe 30 families, each with their own grief, their own weight, their own story about how the system failed them. Richard still hadn't moved, legs shaking worse now, the crowd literally holding him upright. Tommy's sister Serena appeared at 7:31. She'd been in the gift shop, heard the code gray, saw the crowd, saw Richard, understood everything immediately. The container grew heavier in my arms. 5 pounds heavier? 10? Physics didn't work when you were this tired. Morrison leaned close. If that heart expires, both kids die. I knew that. Everyone knew that. The container weighed more every second, ice water leaking through my fingers. 8 a.m. I couldn't breathe. Behind the nurse's station, hyperventilating, Janet shoved a paper bag at my face. Brown paper, grease-stained. In through nose, out through mouth. Smelled like someone's leftover sandwich. Tuna. Day-old tuna. My stomach turned, but lungs needed air. In, out, in, out. The bag crinkled against my face. My phone buzzed nonstop. 27 missed calls. Mom. Brother. My ex-boyfriend from medical school. How did he even know? News travels at the speed of trauma. Back to the crisis. Richard still standing at the door, but barely. His legs trembled like a newborn calf's. Someone had brought him gas station coffee. 7-Eleven cup. He sipped without moving his body from the door, just bent his neck, lifted the cup, didn't spill a drop. The crowd had swelled. 30 people? 40? Hard to count when everyone kept shifting, pushing, recording. Mrs. Park approached Richard directly, mother to father. Please, mom to dad, please. Richard looked at her, really looked. Your son's Korean? Weird question, but he needed to know. Yes. Amy's half Korean, her mom's side. Diane confirmed from behind her dying phone, showed him a photo. Amy at her sweet 16. Korean features from her mother, Richard's eyes. The two families saw each other, really saw each other. For 10 seconds, maybe less. But the crowd wouldn't let Richard step aside. Don't give up! Stay strong, brother. We're all with you. The movement had become bigger than one father's grief. Richard tried to shift his weight. Someone's hand on his back pushed him forward again. He was trapped by solidarity. Dr. Harrison finally emerged from OR 5, scrubs soaked with sweat. Saw the chaos. Actually stepped backward like he'd hit a wall. What the fuck, Smith? First time I'd ever heard him curse. 7 years working together. I explained in 90 seconds. Maintenance window, antibody spike, failed notifications, Richard, Kevin, everything. His face went gray. The Tuesday maintenance, I forgot about. Everyone forgot. The system worked until it didn't. Like everything else in this building. My phone lit up. Alert from ICU. Amy coding. Richard's phone exploded with texts simultaneously. The ICU nurses group texting family. Standard protocol when a patient crashes. He looked at me. Is she? Go. Go. But he couldn't. The crowd held him like cement. Their phones, their bodies, their cause. He was the symbol now. The father who stood up, who said no more. Can't abandon the fight, someone said. Your daughter needs you, Mrs. Park said. Both things are true, Richard said, voice breaking. The impossible physics of being needed in 2 places. His daughter dying upstairs. This movement dying if he left. The crowd's hands on him. Some supporting, some trapping. Hard to tell the difference. Morrison appeared at my elbow. State inspector just pulled in. Tommy's sister Serena pushed through the crowd. Walked straight to Richard. You know what my sister says? She says you saved her life, not the kidney. You. Standing here. Fighting. Then why should I leave? Because Amy needs her father more than we need a martyr. The word hung there. Martyr. Someone from the crowd. We're not asking him to die. Serena turned. Aren't you? The coffee in Richard's hand had gone cold. He set it on the floor. Carefully. Like it mattered where he put an empty cup while his daughter's heart stopped upstairs. How long has she been coding? He asked me. I checked the timestamp. 3 minutes. Every minute of cardiac arrest, 10% less chance of meaningful recovery. The crowd felt it shifting. Some stepping back, others pressing forward. The movement splitting like a cell. Go to her, Mrs. Park said. Please, as a mother, go. Richard looked at the door he'd been blocking. At Kevin behind it. At the container in my arms. The heart that couldn't save Amy. That could save Kevin. If I leave, they'll rush the surgery. Yes, I said. And Kevin gets the heart. Yes. And Amy? I had nothing. Just a paper bag that smelled like tuna and arms that couldn't hold this container much longer. The container sat on the floor between us like an accusation. 8:30 a.m. The ethical committee assembling on Morrison's laptop. Morrison propped his laptop on the nurse's station counter, the video call loading, pixels forming into faces. Dr. Yates, the ethicist, in her Kitsmith. Dr. Powell, legal, clearly in bed. Dr. Brown, medical director, from his car. We created this, Yates said immediately. Irrelevant now, Powell shot back. Kevin dies without the heart, Brown added. Matter of fact, like reading lab results, the speaker was loud, everyone could hear. The crowd pressed closer, phones recording the laptop screen, every word dissected in real time. Why wasn't the family notified? Yates asked. System maintenance, Morrison explained. Unacceptable. But what now? Morrison's voice cracked. Someone on the committee, couldn't see who, suggested the observation room. Let both families watch. Full transparency. Infection risk, Powell said. Fuck infection risk. That came from the crowd. Mr. Roberts, maybe. Hard to tell. Richard's legs finally gave out. He caught himself on the doorframe. The crowd immediately held him up, hands under his arms, someone's shoulder under his armpit. He'd been standing 3 hours. His work boots had left marks on the hospital floor. He wouldn't sit. Sitting meant surrender. Serena pushed through again. Tommy's sister, 24, accounting degree from state, got her kidney here in 2019. You saved my life by fighting, she told Richard. But today isn't Amy's day. Every day is Amy's day until she's dead. Raw, honest, horrible. Serena nodded, leaned close, whispered something I couldn't hear. Richard's face changed. She says use the viewing gallery. Make them show everything. First practical solution anyone had offered, but Morrison was already shaking his head. Protocol doesn't allow. Fuck protocol. Richard's voice was hoarse from not moving, not drinking, just standing. Diane's phone buzzed. New comment notification. Dr. Rahman, cardiac surgeon from Texas. Verified account. 94% PRA might reverse in 6 to 8 weeks. Seen it happen. But the comment was already buried under 200 others. Richard didn't see it. Wouldn't see it until tonight, when guilt would eat him alive. When he'd scroll through every comment looking for absolution. 9 a.m. The ICU alert escalated on my phone. Red banner. Amy Williams needs ECMO now. ECMO. Extracorporeal membrane oxygenation. Mechanical heart and lungs. Last resort before death. Tubes the size of garden hoses. Blood flowing outside the body. Richard's phone erupted with the same alerts. His face tore in half. Foot still pressed against the door. Daughter dying 5 floors up. Go, I told him. Go to her. The crowd split like the Red Sea. Some said go. Some said stay. Don't abandon the movement. That's his child. We need you here. She needs you more. Diane made the decision. Lowered her phone for the first time in 4 hours. We're going. The livestream ended, just like that. 1,892 viewers watching nothing. Richard stepped back from the door. The crowd erupted. Someone called him sellout. Another said traitor. Someone else, they got to you. He ran anyway, not walked, ran. Toward the elevator, toward ICU, toward Amy, his work boots slapping linoleum. Diane followed, shoving her dead phone in her pocket. I grabbed the container from the floor. Ice mostly melted, sloshing like a broken washing machine. Tommy grabbed the other side. We run. Through the gap, Richard left. The crowd parting, some trying to block us, others helping clear the path. Into OR3's anteroom. Kevin's mother followed us. Can I watch? Please? Against every protocol. Against every rule. Yes. Observation room. Now. Harrison stared at me. Smith, you can't. I just did. Tommy and I burst through OR3's doors. Patel looked up from Kevin's open chest. Finally. The heart container on the prep table. Temperature gauge. 5.4 degrees Celsius. We were cutting it close. So close. Mrs. Park climbed the stairs to the observation room. Alone. Looking down at her son's exposed heart. The cavity waiting. Empty. Ready. Forceps. Patel called. The transplant beginning. Finally. My phone buzzed. ICU. Amy on ECMO. Richard and Diane in the hallway. Not allowed in during insertion. 2 children. 2 procedures. 1 heart. We have to make this work. Patel said to no one. The heart lifted from ice. Pink. Perfect. Someone's tragedy becoming Kevin's hope. Mrs. Park pressed her hands against the observation glass. The crowd in the hallway had grown to 50. Some followed Richard. Some stayed. Some just arrived, confused, asking what happened. Morrison typing furiously on his phone. Damage control. Press releases. Legal covering. I stood between 2 worlds. OR3 where Kevin might live. ICU where Amy might die. First suture going in, Patel announced. Mrs. Park sobbed. Actually sobbed. The sound muffled by glass but still there. We had 2 hours 47 minutes. Kevin was crashing. Amy was dying, and I was about to break every protocol we had. The protocol breaking had only just begun. 9:15 a.m. 2 surgeries, 2 children, 1 impossible choice already made. I ran between OR3 and ICU like a messenger in a war, my bladder screaming. 7 hours without a bathroom break. Didn't matter. OR3, Kevin's chest wide open, the heart going in. Dr. Patel's hands moved like a watchmaker's. 6 hours of waiting, and now absolute precision. Connecting left atrium, he announced. Mrs. Park watched from the observation room, alone, hands pressed against glass. She didn't understand the medical terms. I climbed the stairs to her. This is where blood enters. The receiving chamber. She nodded, tears steady but silent. Now the right atrium, Patel called out. The other receiving chamber, I translated, making it human. Like doors to a house. 2 entrances, ICU, 5th floor, Richard and Diane in the hallway. Not allowed in room 7. The bone saw's whine carried through 2 sets of doors. That specific pitch that meant ribs being cracked. Diane bent over the trash can, vomited. Nothing but bile and gas station coffee. Richard held her hair. First time they'd touched in 3 years. His hand hesitated before making contact. Old habit. New crisis. I can't listen to that, she whispered. You don't have to. But they both did. Listened to their daughter's chest being opened while 5 floors down, another child received the heart Amy couldn't use. Back to OR 3. Running. Actually, running. Nurses dodging out of my way. Right ventricle connected, Patel announced. The heart wasn't beating yet. Just sitting there, pink, waiting, like it knew its job wasn't done. Mrs. Park, why isn't it moving? They'll warm Kevin's blood. When it reaches the right temperature, the heart should start. Should. The word that haunted every transplant. Back to ICU. The ECMO tubes were in, garden hose-sized, Amy's blood flowing through plastic tubes, through a machine the size of a refrigerator, back into her body, mechanical lungs, mechanical heart, mechanical life. Richard finally looked through the door's window, immediately turned away. That's not living. The ICU nurse, Brenda, 20-year veteran, it's not dying either. The crowd in the main hallway had their phones out, watching Roberts' stream, his commentary. They're operating on both kids. The system failed everyone. The comments had shifted. Less rage, more grief. Reality setting in like cold water. This wasn't conspiracy, wasn't corruption, just failure. System failure. Human failure. Tuesday maintenance windows and antibody spikes and nobody winning. Diane's phone finally died completely. The live stream that started everything, gone. But Roberts had 1,200 viewers now. Other streams popping up, the story spreading like spilled water, finding every crack. First heartbeat, Patel called. I ran back. Kevin's new heart flickered, once, twice, then steady rhythm. 74 beats per minute. Mrs. Park's scream, joy, relief, guilt, everything at once. In ICU, the ECMO machine hummed. Amy's heartbeat replaced by mechanical rhythm. 60 rotations per minute, not beats. Rotations. 11:30 a.m. Both surgeries, successful. Kevin's heart beating independently. Amy stable on ECMO. The word stable doing so much work. Stable like a house of cards in a sealed room. I finally ran to the bathroom, sat on the toilet and cried while peeing, multitasking my breakdown. The fluorescent light flickering. Someone had scratched "This too shall pass" into the stall door. Outside, Channel 7 interviewing families. Richard walked past them. No comment. No words left. Diane got her phone charged at the nurse's station. Didn't restart the stream. People saw enough. 287,000 views final count. Would hit 815,000 in 3 days. Would spark 17 news segments. 4 investigations. 0 immediate changes. Morrison stood at a makeshift podium. The hospital announces a full investigation. Immediate changes to our notification system. I knew the truth. 18 months minimum for real change. Committees, meetings, budget reviews, bureaucracy moved like sludge, like blood through ECMO tubes. State investigator arrived at noon. Tall woman, gray suit, exhausted eyes. Took my statement in the family conference room. I held nothing back. Showed her everything. Every timestamp. Every failure. Harrison arrived halfway through. Threw me under the bus before sitting down. Dr. Smith should have overridden the system. With what authority? I asked. Emergency protocols? The same protocols that say don't break down doors? Don't force families aside? He had nothing for that. Union filed grievances by 1 p.m. transport team claiming trauma. Tommy got written up for abandoning post when he helped carry the heart. He quit on the spot. Handed his badge to Rodriguez. My sister lived. That's what matters. Walked out. 9 days of employment. Gone. At 2:17 p.m., while Kevin was still unconscious, while his mother sat beside him holding his hand, the insurance denial arrived. Email. Subject line. Claim review. Unauthorized circumstance. $717,000 estimated bill. The heart itself, $600,000. Surgery, $137,000. Unauthorized deviation from standard protocol. Mrs. Park screamed. Not cried. Screamed. The sound echoed down the hallway. Reached the waiting room where 30 families still sat. Still waited. Still hoped their turn would be different. The screaming had stopped, but the damage was permanent. 2 weeks later. Richard disappeared on day 3, after Amy stabilized on ECMO, after the crisis ended, after the cameras left. He just vanished. Diane found him day 14, his apartment, bottles everywhere, whiskey, beer, the cheap vodka from the corner store. I almost killed that boy. He kept saying it, over and over. Diane showed him her phone. The Texas surgeon's comment. Finally, 94% PRA might reverse in 6 to 8 weeks. Seen it happen. The comment he'd missed. The hope he'd never seen. Maybe reversible. Maybe. Hope and guilt mixed like poison. Day 16, Diane drove him to therapy. Not court-mandated. Ex-wife mandated. You're no good to Amy dead. I was on administrative leave by then. Pending investigation. Full pay but couldn't work. Couldn't sleep either. That hallway haunted me. Phantom smell of melting ice. The weight of 37 pounds that wasn't there. Day 21, Kevin's rejection episode. His body attacking the heart it needed. Rushed back to OR. Touch and go for 72 hours. Fever of 104. Heart rate erratic. He survived. Weakened. Exhausted. But alive. Amy still on ECMO. Day 21 brought complications. Blood clot. Partial paralysis. Left hand. 3 fingers that wouldn't move. Both kids alive. Both kids damaged. Is this winning? 6 weeks later. 2:47 a.m. Thursday. New heart available. Motorcycle accident. 19-year-old donor from Raleigh. Richard in the same hallway. Different this time. The protocol I designed while on leave. Unpaid work, but I couldn't stop. Family advocate present. A social worker named Beth who'd lost her own son. Manual confirmation every step, no digital delays. Richard watched everything through the new viewing window. His construction company donated it, installed last week. $47,000 of glass and steel. The surgery took 4 hours. Success, real success this time. Amy's new heart beat independently. Strong, steady, 72 beats per minute. Richard texted Kevin's family. She got one. Mrs. Park responded in Korean first, then English. Thank God. 2 families bound by the worst morning of their lives. 3 months after. Starbucks on Medical Plaza. Awkward corner table. Amy and Kevin comparing scars. Both on anti-rejection medications. Prednisone making their faces puffy. Both grateful. Both guilty. Both alive. Richard and Mrs. Park sat at a separate table, discussing the reform committee. Richard testifying next week. State legislature, trying to mandate transparency protocols. They won't listen, Mrs. Park said. They might? I stopped by briefly. Still on leave. Unpaid now. Running transparency rounds anyway. Volunteer basis. Couldn't stay away. Still couldn't enter that hallway. PTSD diagnosis official. Therapy twice a week. Richard nodded at me. Not forgiveness. Just acknowledgement. We all failed. We all survived. Amy showed me her fitness app. 74 beats per minute average. She texted me updates weekly, sometimes daily. Proof of life. Kevin was struggling. 3rd rejection episode. Steroids increased. Kidney function dropping, but alive. The viewing window got used daily now. Families watching transplants. Understanding the process. Fear decreased when you could see. The system was updating. Morrison's word. Committees formed. Proposals drafted. But the Tuesday maintenance window still existed. 4 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. every week. We just called families manually now. 5 people hired just to make phone calls during the window. Progress, not perfection. Richard stood to leave. Diane waited by the door. Still divorced, but together in this. The investigator called, he told me. They're ruling it system failure. No individual fault, no individual fault, everyone's fault, no one's fault. Amy waved with her right hand. The left hung still. I waved back. The heart that almost wasn't, now beating in her chest. The boy who almost died. Fighting rejection, but fighting. The system that failed. Patched, not fixed. Some things don't change. The Tuesday window. The insurance denials, the waiting. Some things do. Slowly. Window by window, call by call. I'm still on leave. Richard still has nightmares. Amy's heart beats 74 times a minute. I know because she texts me updates. Kevin's on his 3rd rejection episode. The viewing window gets used daily. The Tuesday maintenance window still exists. We just call families manually now. Progress, not perfection. That's all we got.